is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Thanks for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Nicole Griffin. Lauren Casey has the morning off. We have a lot of news to get to this morning, but we begin first with the heartbreaking story of an IMPD officer killed in the line of duty. Officer Brianna Leath was just 24 years old. She was responding to a domestic violence call near 21st and Franklin Road yesterday around 3 p.m. when she was shot. She was rushed to the hospital, but later died from her injuries. She had been with the department for just 2 years, and we do know there is a suspect in custody. Another woman was also shot. We will have the very latest on this story straight ahead on Good Morning Indiana. And we are also following the very latest when it comes to the coronavirus cases in the Hoosier State. So far, 245 Hoosiers have died from the virus. 6,300 people have tested positive. Every morning around 10 a.m., we receive an update from the Indiana State Department of Health, and we do expect to get those numbers updated later this morning. We will also cover how EMS crews are staying safe while responding to calls. Now let's get a first check of your Storm Team 6 forecast with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Good morning.
Nicole, good morning. It's a cold morning for us here all across central Indiana. In fact, freeze warnings are posted across much of the state. The only exception is the northern half of Indiana, and that's because temperatures this morning have dipped down into the 30s anywhere you go, and that's partially because the clear skies and the winds have calmed down just a little bit. But Storm Team 6 radar is completely quiet with those clear skies. That is the good news. And temperatures, they currently sit at 33 in Indianapolis. 34 is the current temperature in the Logansport area, 33 in Kokomo. As we go forward throughout the day today, our high temperature, that gets up to right around 50 degrees for us with plenty of sunshine after this very cold start. So it's a decent day. It's not as windy as it has been. That is the good news, but still averaging well below normal. So if you do have plans to be outdoors today at some point, you're definitely, Nicole, going to want to have that jacket handy.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. And also ahead this morning, our Kelsey Anderson is talking to a local plumbing and heating company. They are changing the way that they are operating right now during the COVID-19 pandemic. Here at RTV6, we are focusing on how people are working together to help out. And this company is doing just that. They are delivering groceries to high-risk groups across central Indiana. So again, our Kelsey Anderson will have that story straight ahead. She will be talking to them about why they want to help out Hoosiers during this time. We will have that story plus more news, weather, and traffic to start your Friday morning.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
She was a daughter, mother, veteran, and a community servant. This morning, she is fallen but not forgotten.
In the middle of the holiest week of this year, Officer Leath made the ultimate sacrifice on behalf of her brothers and her sisters, and made the ultimate sacrifice for an ever grateful city.
This morning, we are looking at how the city of Indianapolis is remembering IMPD officer Brianna Leath. Good morning, and thanks for starting your Friday with us. I'm Nicole Griffin. Lauren Casey has the morning off. We will get to the latest on Officer Leath's deaths and the other top stories in just a few moments. But first, we need to get a check of your Friday forecast with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, it is chilly outside.
Oh, you can say that again, Nicole. Just think a couple days ago, we were talking about temperatures right around 80 degrees, how the mornings were nice and mild, and here we are this morning talking about temperatures near the freezing mark, and that's why that freeze warning is in place across most of central Indiana. 33 right now in Indianapolis as well as Peru. 35 is the current temperature in the Bloomington area as far as that freeze warning goes, and that is in place for almost all of central Indiana, the exception of our northern tier counties where the growing season hasn't technically started yet. That's why they are not under, or you aren't under the freeze warning if you live up in the Peru or Marion area or Hartford City, but you'll get into that in the coming days because tomorrow's another cold start. One of the reasons why we're so chilly, clear skies, as you can see all across central Indiana. As we go throughout the day today, plenty of sunshine this morning, becoming partly cloudy later on this afternoon. With the sunshine, we'll see temperatures eventually climb up to right around 50 degrees. So it turns into a decent day. It's not as windy, just not quite as warm as we would like it here in the middle of April. Nicole.
Todd, thank you. Let's take a live look outside this morning at the roads. This is I-465 at Kentucky Avenue. You can see at this early hour, not many cars out traveling right now. So if you're heading out in that area, nothing to slow you down. Let's take another look right now at I-465 at East 56th Street. Wide open there in that area. So if you're heading out, you should have an easy morning commute. Fallen but not forgotten this morning, the city of Indianapolis and the Hoosier State mourn the loss of IMPD officer Brianna Leath. She was called to an apartment on Edinburgh Square near 21st and Franklin around 2:45 Thursday afternoon. Investigators say Officer Leath and a woman inside that apartment were shot. Officer Leath later died. This morning, police say the other woman shot is in stable condition at Methodist Hospital. The suspect is in custody. The woman behind the badge was a mother to a young son, a best friend, a generous soul who stepped up to help when she met someone who needed a little kindness. This morning, RTV6's Cameron Riddle is learning more about Officer Leath's courage and compassion.
Today, we mourn the loss of a strong and well-respected officer. An officer that had a desire to be a police officer since she was a child.
That's part of the legacy now left behind by IMPD officer Brianna Leath, a Southport High School graduate, mother and daughter of a sheriff's deputy and 911 dispatcher. The 24-year-old killed in the line of duty had been on the force for 2 years.
She's described as a dedicated officer who showed compassion for the community. She is the example of the type of officer we want on this department.
Officer Leath's compassion could be seen on a daily basis and was captured here on Christmas 2018 when she and another officer delivered Christmas presents to a family that had no presents under the tree. Serving and not turning away from people in need is what Officer Leath did in a number of ways.
That's because rather than turn away, Officer Leath turned toward the danger. She heard the call, and she went bravely toward that which could do her harm, because she knew if she didn't, harm may come to others.
Officer Leath leaves behind a young son. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogshead is asking every resident of the city to remember that sacrifice tonight, as well as keeping the members of IMPD in mind as they deal with the loss of one of their own. In Indianapolis, I'm Cameron Riddle, RTV6.
Cameron, thank you. In a statement, Governor Eric Holcomb says, quote, Officer Leath gave her life as she answered the call of duty. Janet and I are heartbroken for her family, friends, and the Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department. We have complete coverage of the life and legacy of Officer Brianna Leath right now on the RTV6 app and the IndyChannel.com. Now to the latest on the spread of COVID-19 in Indiana. The State Department of Health says these numbers are reported right now. This morning, state health officials says 245 Hoosiers have died from coronavirus. More than 6,300 people have tested positive. We expect the latest numbers from the health department at 10 o'clock this morning. Hopeful signs are emerging despite a surge in virus deaths. New York City is reporting its lowest daily number of hospital admissions so far. As ABC's Kenneth Moten reports, now states like Texas and Indiana with a little more than 200 deaths are preparing for a possible surge in cases.
This morning, President Trump is assuring Americans the curve could be flattening.
We're at the top of the hill. Pretty sure we're at the top of the hill, and now we're going downward. In some cases, we've already started that process.
The message comes as New York State reports a record 799 coronavirus deaths in one day.
That is so shocking and painful and breathtaking. I don't even have the words for it.
New York's governor says the hospitalization rate is dropping, but more people in the hospital since earlier in the outbreak are dying. And now new questions are being raised about how and when we can ease social distancing. President Trump says widespread nationwide testing for the virus will not be necessary, something health officials have said is key to reopening the country.
Do you need it? No. Is it a nice thing to do? Yes. We're talking about 325 million people, and that's not going to happen, as you can imagine. And no, it would never happen with anyone else either.
Many Americans are eager to plan summer vacations. Dr. Anthony Fauci is cautiously optimistic.
We have to be prepared that when the infections start to rear their heads again, that we have in place a very aggressive and effective way to identify, isolate, contact trace, and make sure we don't have those spikes that we see now. So the answer to your question is yes, if we do the things that we need to do to prevent the resurgence.
Experts say life in America won't return to normal until a vaccine is developed, which could be 18 months away. But now Pfizer says it's working on a promising vaccine that could stop the virus from replicating. It could be ready by the end of this year. Kenneth Moten, ABC News, New York.
Kenneth, thank you. Now to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic and how it's impacting healthcare, jobs, daily life, and much more. We're finding out how first responders are protecting themselves from the coronavirus. EMS workers are the first to come in contact with patients. Their protocol is constantly being updated. Right now, their day starts by sanitizing everything in their ambulance. Then they make sure that they are fully stocked with personal protective equipment. When they get a call, they put on their respirator, eye protection, and gown on before even meeting patients at their door.
It's scary, but it's our job, so we're here to take care of people no matter what is going on. So this is the job that we signed up for.
EMS crews are tasked with treating as many patients at home as possible to avoid exposure at hospitals, but patients will be taken to the hospital if necessary. RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers initiative connects you to job opportunities and resources, but that is not all. We're also committed to helping you find unemployment resources, especially during the economic crisis caused by this pandemic. More than 133,000 people filed for unemployment this week in Indiana. During the state's briefing, the Department of Workforce Development Commissioner acknowledged the agency has had some technical issues with the filing process.
We have had some complaints or some concerns about calls being transferred, and when they're transferred, they end up getting dropped. We're working with our IT team to make sure that that issue is being addressed.
The Department of Workforce Development is also setting up a website for those who are self-employed or independent contractors who are also trying to apply for benefits available under the federal stimulus package. Right now, people trying to apply for those benefits are being automatically rejected by the state system. And Indiana's Attorney General is taking new steps to fight price gouging. Curtis Hill's office announcing a partnership with Amazon and Facebook to identify questionable sellers. Hill said his office can send price gouging complaints related to Amazon directly to the company so it can investigate. You can file a complaint through the Consumer Protection Division of the AG's office. The American Lung Association is launching a $25 million COVID-19 research initiative. The association plans to expand its ongoing respiratory disease research program. The CEO of the American Lung Association says they want to make an immediate impact when the need is the greatest. The research will also be directed towards defending against future pandemics. The Lung Association was founded in 1904 to fight tuberculosis. It's hoping to have the same success with coronavirus. Cities across the country are lighting up blue this morning for those on the front lines of the COVID-19 outbreak. After the break, why the lights are taking on an additional meaning here in the Hoosier State. Plus, storm cleanup will take some time in Mooresville. Ahead this morning, we're hearing from those who rode out the confirmed tornado. Todd.
And Nicole, it's feeling more like winter than spring here across central Indiana. As you can see, much of the Midwest is at or below freezing, and this cool air, unfortunately, it's going to stick around. We'll talk all about it coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 4:41. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Oil made in the USA since 1947.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. We're taking a live look outside right now. This is I-70 at Ronald Reagan Parkway out by the airport. Very quiet start to the morning there. So if you're heading to the airport for an early morning flight, you shouldn't have any issues this morning. This morning, the giant American flag on IUPUI's campus is flying at half staff. Indianapolis Mayor Joe Hogsett ordered flags across the city to be lowered following the death of Officer Brianna Leath. As you wake up this morning, you may notice some central Indiana landmarks lit up in blue. Lighted Up Blue recognizes those working on the front lines in the fight against COVID-19. But here in Indianapolis, the lights are also honoring Officer Brianna Leath. Several local landmarks are participating, including Lucas Oil Stadium, the IPL building, and the JW Marriott. While city landmarks are shining blue this morning, some homeowners have taken pride in letting their blue lights glow. Take a look at these photos here from Indy and Zionsville. If you have a picture of your home with blue lights shining, we would love to see it. Be sure to post it on our Facebook page. If you are looking to buy a new home, you might have a hard time finding the perfect place. This morning, home site Zillow says new listings are down 27% compared to a year ago. Spring is usually prime season for home sales. Zillow says the drop is especially noticeable in cities hit hard by the coronavirus. In addition to the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, people in Morgan County are now dealing with tornado damage. The National Weather Service confirms an EF1 tornado touched down in Mooresville Wednesday night. This is some of the damage in that downtown area. The second floor of one of those buildings collapsed. A Mooresville resident describes the tornado moving through the area.
But you could hear like the side of the house just being like hit left and right. So it was definitely terrifying.
Well, there are no reports of any injuries in Mooresville. Now let's check in with Storm Team 6 meteorologist Todd Clausen. Todd, that damage in that video there, wow, glad no one was hurt.
Yeah, you know, that was an intense line of storms. We had that tornado that was confirmed. Outside of the tornado, a lot of areas saw a lot of gusty winds and a lot of storm damage. So thankfully, we've kind of put that behind us. But that cold front has ushered in some very, very chilly temperatures. In fact, this morning, temperatures have fallen down to near freezing in Indianapolis as well as Kokomo. Just 1 degree above the freezing mark at 33. It's 35 in Bloomington as well as Muncie. And here are some of the other temperatures across the area. Richmond, you are now down below freezing, as is Crawfordsville at 31 degrees, right at freezing in Martinsville, and that is why we have a freeze warning that's in place right now across almost all of central Indiana. The only counties not included, actually counties to the north. You may ask why, and that's because the growing season has not technically started there in northern locations as of yet, and they do not issue frost advisories or freeze warnings until the growing season has begun. Temperatures, though, will warm pretty quickly above freezing soon as the sun comes up. That's a little after 7 o'clock this morning. We should be into the 40s by the noon hour, and then right around 50 degrees later on this afternoon for your high temperature, with skies that eventually will turn partly cloudy. It's still going to be a little breezy today across the area, so you'll have to contend with that, but we won't have those gusty winds like we had previously yesterday across central Indiana. So we'll get through today with just a jacket or two available to us, and you'll have to wear it as we make our way out and about throughout the day today. But nonetheless, we will be dry, as TrueCast confirms, with clear skies. And then overnight tonight, we'll do it all over again. Probably not quite as cold as we work our way into tomorrow morning. The freeze warning will be replaced by a frost advisory as we get into the day tomorrow, with a low of 35 degrees. And then we'll get back up to near 60 tomorrow. So it's briefly warmer over the weekend. Tomorrow's the better day of the weekend because it is dry across the area until late in the day. But once we get into the evening hours, we're going to start to bring some scattered showers in. So Easter Sunday starts with scattered showers but turns fairly wet as we progress throughout the day. And our high temperature on Sunday is up to 60 degrees, which is seasonable. But once that cold front goes through Sunday evening, look at those temperatures as we work our way into next week. Highs will only be in the 40s. Once again, low temperatures will be back down near the freezing mark, and I have spotty showers in there for Wednesday and Thursday, and it's not out of the question, Nicole, with those spotty showers and those temperatures getting that cold, we could even, unfortunately, mix in a few snowflakes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a live look outside this morning in the Fishers area. This is I-69 at 106th Street. Not too many cars out on the road, so if you're heading out the door, nothing to slow you down in that area. Now here's a look at I-74 at Thompson Road. Not too many cars here either, so no problems if you're heading out the door. Clorox and Lysol are working around the clock to clean up supply issues with some of their most popular products. If you've shopped for disinfecting wipes or spray lately, you know they're in high demand. In fact, sales of aerosol sprays are up nearly 350% since this time last year. Both companies have ramped up production, but it could be a while before stores are fully stocked once again. Patients currently undergoing fertility treatments are facing a new obstacle. The American Society for Reproductive Medicine is recommending they pause procedures for now. They say they don't have enough data to know about the effects of the coronavirus on a fetus. Doctors recommend patients use this time to focus on their overall health, so when it is safe to resume treatment, they'll be ready to do so. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of kids wanting to get out of schoolwork. Many schools have turned to Google Classroom to connect with students while they're learning at home. But an idea spread quickly through social media that students hoped would get them off the hook. They've been giving the app 1-star reviews in an effort to get it removed from the Google Play App Store. Ratings have fallen, but despite their efforts, it's unlikely Google will remove one of its own apps. Sushi restaurants are popping up all over the place, but how about doing it at home? After the break, we'll show you how one local shop is ready to help. Plus, home repair is considered essential business during the COVID-19 outbreak. Coming up, all new at 5 o'clock, why local businesses are giving up some calls to give back to the community. It's 4:50. You're watching Good Morning Indiana. Stay with us.
Home experts at theindychannel.com.
Many restaurants are still open during the pandemic, providing carryout and delivery service. RTV6's Brad Brown is finding out some are going a step further, helping customers find their inner chef, or in this case, their inner boss.
In the right hands, rice, fish, and a few other ingredients become a delicious dish at Sushi Boss. Their 2 Indy area locations are both open for takeout and delivery. From traditional rolls to rolls in bowls, it's a quick take for about $9 or $10.
Our takeout and delivery has, exceeded our expectations since we started our own online delivery app. All the third-party services, too, are helping out with waiving delivery fees for the customers on some nights.
But let's say you'd like to try your hand at making a few rolls yourself, or maybe with the kids. Jason and his crew have put together a take-home sushi kit, now available at Sushi Boss.
I have 2 young kids at home as well, so I started looking online of different kits that I could buy for my family. And I started thinking, well, why wouldn't we put a sushi kit together? Because it includes dinner as well. Just kind of something interactive and dinner at the same time.
The California Roll Kit comes with enough to make 4. There's perfectly cooked rice. That's the sushi part. The nori, that is a seaweed wrapper. Cucumber sticks sliced to fit just right. Crab legs, that is crab with a K, by the way. They are cooked too. Avocado, pickled ginger, and wasabi as well.
Now, to become a true sushi master, it takes about 10 years of training in knife technique, rice cooking procedures, and fish selection. We've got about 10 minutes and a YouTube video. Sushi Boss has locations downtown. There's also one out at Keystone at the Crossing. I'll be honest, it's not the easiest thing. There is a bit of skill involved, but let's be honest, even the mistakes are pretty tasty.
All right, thank you, Brad. Looks really, really good. Temperatures today will top off right around 50 degrees after a very, very cold start with a mixture of sun and clouds. It's a dry day, partly sunny skies throughout the day today, or tomorrow rather, up to 58 degrees before we bring rain and unsettled weather into the forecast starting on Easter Sunday. We'll deal with some showers Sunday morning, turning into a little more of a steady rainfall throughout the day. And then as we work our way throughout next week, it is chilly with the high temperatures only in the upper 40s, a low temperatures that'll be hovering right around the freezing mark. So enjoy the sunshine today and tomorrow before the cooler, inclement weather heads our way. The time now is 4:57. This is Good Morning Indiana. You're watching on RTV6. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a few minutes.